So, my closing bit, right? Wash cars. Get really good at cleaning cars and bikes, right? As bad as it sounds and as heartless as it sounds, that is pretty much
Clean
something.
the car like मतलब
Anything.
लोग आके बोले कि मतलब
वाह क्या कार है
हाँ गाड़ी मस्त लग रही है
वाह क्या गाड़ी धो रहा है क्या गाड़ी धोया है इसको हर शूट पे लेके जाओ हाँ क्या दैट्स योर सीक्रेट Hello everyone, welcome to the AutoX podcast where we bring everything extra. I'm Manav Sinha and
Karan Mathur.
Today we will be talking about something slightly different. We will be talking about
Slavery.
Life of an auto journalist. Now, what has happened is one of the things that we decided before coming to this podcast was not to discuss. I mean, we have an idea. That's why he termed the topic rather aptly, as we'll find out. We haven't discussed this topic in advance because what we wanted to bring with this podcast to you is to understand how there are different experiences for different auto journalists, because auto journalists or auto journalism as a whole has an image, right? It is the end product that you see, but the amount of people that are involved in it are so many, and similarly there are so many experiences. So that is what we'll talk about today.
To be fair, we got into it because we fancied that exact image.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Passion plus glamour.
Yes, and passion.
Oh,
Nice bikes.
Oh.
But passion is a word, is something that I think today requires a bit of an explanation. So that's a rant for further up in the episode. So make sure you like this video, you like this podcast, share it with your friends who are wanting to get into cars and bikes and want to plan a life around being around vehicles all the time. You and I have been here for quite some time now with our receding hair and smart looks still today.
Whiteness.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
So, 3 highlights that you've had till today.
3 like
Specific or whatever, like 3 memories,
3 memories
that you would like to share, which you would rank on the podium.
Okay, I know. First and foremost is me and who is our colleague Dhruv Paliwal, but was my colleague about 6 years back. Him and I
in another publication
seemed like another world altogether. Okay, so him and I'm gonna club 2 stories into one. Okay, so one was a trip all across the Northeast, then to Bhutan, back to the Northeast, and then to Delhi. Okay, we were in my long term, which was a Tata Safari Storm. I called it Brutus, and like it was just so magical being a 23, 24-year-old, getting to travel to such beautiful parts of the country, doing with friends, you like, and sometimes, when, but it was brilliant. Okay. And second was a Mercedes CLA trip. Started from Kashmir, went to Kanyakumari, and that was like a 2-week trip. Just amazing. Like, that's like what I dreamed of is what I got to do in my opening stint of my automotive journalism career, and that like set it up. Okay, that is one memory. Second is the first supercar, which was the Nissan GTR.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's just
that was your first supercar.
That was my first.
The Almighty.
Yeah, Gojia. Okay, and then was the first superbike around the track, which was the S1000. And I remember so I have no sense of self-preservation. Okay, so I just get on a bike and I hit the gas, and I did 275 kilometers on the back straight, and that just you feel that zoning out effect, that tunnel effect.
Yes.
And I was just hooked onto.
Yeah. And that was at a racetrack.
It was at a racetrack. We were safe. Yeah, but like that, just like that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Just drive cars and bring you guys along with for the journey.
Yeah.
What about you?
मेरा काफी simple है. Okay. Right. It's what I go after are experiences, right? So I mean, talking about firsts, right? So it has to be, I think, getting my first knee down, right? So as you raise the benchmark, right? The first supercar was the GTR, first superbike. I'll tell you what my first knee down was, right? The track is Sepang, right? That was also a good experience because I think I did 70, 80 laps around the track. Motorcycle in question is the Panigale V4. It's just come out. It has, taken the world by
70-80 laps
surprise
on the Panigale V4
on the Sepang circuit. Madness. And right, so and I'm being taught by their proper racers, right? The lead developers who make the Panigale and have designed it to run a particular way. So they are teaching us how to ride it
with passion.
with passion, right? So if you remember the Sepang circuit, maybe we can show it somewhere on the screen. It has two long straights, right? Going above 300. 300 is whatever, right? I mean, do it twice a lap. You've done, even if you've done 40, there's 80 times going over 300 kilometers an hour, right? But at the end of it, or the start finish straight, there are these two hairpins and then a long right hander, right? And that you can't stick to the towards the inner side of that corner. You have to go wide and bring it back in. I'm doing that, and at that time, my knee touches. Right now, from the morning, the person was Dario Marchetti, fabulous guy. Maybe we can show some pictures of him. He's in his race suit. He's a bit aged, right? A lot of wisdom, way more than us. In the race suit, he looks like anybody else, and he takes it off and like, whoa, this guy. I mean, that is when you start questioning your physical abilities. But anyway, so he was saying since the morning that your lean angles are there. Put your bum out, right? I did that. The knee touched. I'm like, oh, scary, right? I come back again, try to see, maybe
Did you scare yourself?
Maybe, yeah. First time I did, but the next time I'm just like, maybe it's right there, right? Towards the end of the day, I got more comfortable, and I realized because that corner is so fast, I'm doing 170 on the dash, and my knee is scraping. And I was like, damn, I never thought.
Riding God.
Yeah, thanks to the bike and the trainer. But yeah, it felt like it at that time. So that's number one. Second, also incidentally, is a motorcycle. It's a motorcycle experience. We drove. We rode from South Africa, from Morocco, to a place called Essaouira.
Okay.
But Essaouira was the place where light hits first in Africa. That was the story I had done, which is a wordplay on Savera. Right?
So,
Savera, our Savera.
yeah.
That's a story to tell,
There must be a background somewhere over there.
Sure.
Language background.
Yeah, I was too happy on the bike.
I care about culture.
Yeah, like the bike
this
was
is
like,
my culture right here.
Yeah, I was just like, Essaouira, Africa road trip, sign me up. Right? So I was covering, I think, I was covering the Milan EICMA.
Yeah.
Right? And once I finished, grueling work, which is what we'll come to, right? This is the side that you don't see. And then I traveled upwards, did Rome, did Vatican City, did
for a story or just
the story was done. The Milan show was done. So I just wanted to explore. And Venice on a cloudy day for some reason, but it was still.
You were alone? Akela?
No, we were a bunch of people.
But
that was like the ability to explore that place.
Like right after a motorcycle show, which you've been wanting to go for so long, and then you get to travel,
some place where I wanted
beautiful
to.
places,
right? And like that brings me to circling back.
And this was like this. What took you there was the industry,
the work, right? You're there for work.
Yeah.
So what happens is our travel is obviously taken care of. So it was only a matter of extending it and exploring more places, right? Now that we've given 3 very lucrative conditions of ours, it didn't start that way, did it?
No.
How did it start for you?
I grew up in Dubai. My parents are still there. And I came to India because this had a flourishing automotive industry.
Right.
And that had pretty much like a low-lying, pretty much dead in the waters industry. Big cars, but not so much as a industry hub. And came here, no contacts. So through a family friend of mine, I got in touch with, there was a magazine called Rob Report. Yeah, so it was like a big American luxury lifestyle magazine, and that's the only place I could. I'm fortunate enough to do so, but like that's the only place I could get myself in, and I was there to as a like intern, which I had to write about lifestyle. Okay. But they're like, hey, oh, you write about cars, you love cars, you can come and write for us. But I only wrote about, मुझे मेरा दिमाग ही उधर चलता था मतलब they're like कि कुछ और लिख दो like हाँ like just one article which should be different. I'm like हाँ car
I mean, lifestyle car.
car car. So and then thankfully Auto Today was part of the same group, and basically the editor of Rob Report जिसको like कि ये बंदा कुछ और नहीं कर सकता तुम इसको रख लो
इसको यही आता है।
इसको यही आता है तुम मान ले सही है. So that's how I got my start. I joined there as a correspondent, and that's when I started to experience the world, and yeah, like opened my eyes to मतलब what the end product you see is that is a journey on its own. Like how you like get the story out like is a process which is sometimes months in the making, sometimes weeks in the making, and what about you? What's
So, for those who know me, know that I come from a news background, right? Was obviously very young when I started. Could you imagine? I was young. How young? I think I was 21 at that time when I was starting. So I started with news.
Well, today is a little bit special. Today we will be talking about EICMA, which is the biggest two-wheeler expo of the world that takes place in Milan, in Italy.
I started with Hindi news.
पत्रकारिता हम भी करते हैं लेकिन नेताओं के हाथ में बिकने वाले दलाली जो
Hindi news, right? And tough story, tough place to.
I can see it in your
It was
face.
very competitive. So I did all the जी हाँ, देख सकते हैं आप. I did all of those things.
What is breaking news in Hindi?
इस वक्त की बड़ी खबर, भैंस लालू जी को देखकर भाग जाती है.
So did that and then worked my way through. 7 years did TV. And now I'm here at AutoX doing this podcast. And not to go into that journey because maybe we'll save it for another episode. Let us know if that is something you would want to check. But I would be actually happy to share that if you would want to, But now that we're here, right? The angle that I wanted to bring, एंड में लोगों को क्या दिखता है? मुद्दा क्या है हमारा? लोगों को क्या दिखता है? फैंसी कार्स. Drove this today, stay tuned because obviously I can't say anything because there's an embargo, but I want to post a picture. So this is what it is. And the final content. What I want to bring today is just the number of people that are involved in bringing that content out in the first place. Right? Because that's also auto journalism. It doesn't only mean कि आपने खाली भाई आज मैंने यहाँ चलाई, आज मैं वहाँ गया, or it's more than that. So this is what I wanted to share.
The biggest hassle for automotive journalists is traffic.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks. By the way, what we mean by traffic is because that's our internal way of talking about how many people have interacted with it. And traffic चाहिए. Traffic नहीं आ रहा है.
Traffic, हाँ. एक side पे traffic नहीं चाहिए, एक side पे traffic चाहिए.
आ जाता है अपना.
क्या चाहिए? So basically start shooting in the mornings. The whole point is that you need to make it crisp. That's like you try to make it crisp. You shoot the bike, maybe it takes 2 days, come back. You have to ensure that the bike is safe, the bike is clean, everyone who's around you like is doing the best they can. Like it's a process of you taking care of the machinery, of the people, of the story. Then once you come back, then you have to go out again to shoot it again for your written article as well.
Yes.
So
those photos require certain effort.
All of them, like everything, and all of them require one place traffic, one place no traffic.
But once it's finished, once you're done with the shoot, the work doesn't end, right?
Work doesn't end. and then you have to sit with the editors maybe for a day, take out all your talking bits, then you choose the overlays. Then if there's no shots, sometimes you have to go out again, and that's another day of like starting at 7 o'clock all the way up till 3, 4 o'clock, just getting. So it involves just responsibility, dedication, effort, passion. Just you have to bring everything to the table, and sometimes it gets exhausting. It can burn you out easily, because and dude,
Because it's 15 hours a day.
let's not forget, nowadays it's so cutthroat that if you don't get the views, you are instantly demotivated. Then that just makes you, why am I doing all this?
Exactly. But like that's the thing that comes out of this podcast, right? Today, in my opinion,
That's why I also said that you need to remind yourself why you're doing it.
why you're doing it. But in order to do it, it's not just a matter of writing it, or your hypermotard in this example. Because today,
Let's not forget that you need to be proficient in what you're doing. You need to have a base and a knowledge. You need to be good at read. You need to be good from your legs to your shoulders. You need to be able to read a car and bike. Feel.
feel it. Yes.
Yeah, anyone can read numbers. But it's, for me, it's most important the experience and the feel. That's what I'm trying to get across in my stories, and that's what people get wrong. They in their reviews, they're telling me how this bike is great because of what it has to offer, but I want to know why it's great because how it makes you feel.
Right. So that is what I would have just said. In what I try to do, you've just covered it brilliantly, because experience is really what differs you, because you're riding it, I'm riding it, it's the same bike, same hardware. Experience is where it differs. But post that, I think something, if you are also, have become, you're a freshly brewed auto journalist, or you're planning to become one, 5 years from now, what is it that you need? In my opinion, you need to know how to edit videos yourself. And you need to have an idea at least, right? You need to know how to write, most importantly, because you're writing a script, you're writing your anything, even if it's a tweet or an Instagram caption, you need to know. You need to know your social strategies.
You need to know how to frame shots.
How to frame shots. अब आपने फोटो तो खींच ली, but जब वो देखी 5 लोग रहे हैं,
Like a story has to give context.
It has to relate, it has to reach out. Once you're writing the piece, right? Because unless you're affiliated, this is obviously stands for when you're working for an organization. Once you do that, you have to understand SEO. You have to understand how to make it reader friendly. You have to understand silly things like resizing the image, carrying it out, be professional, that it needs to go out when it is supposed to go out and not hamper your colleagues' schedule, things like that. So it's not just riding. So even if you're a fantastic rider or a driver, you do heel toe from your house to buying milk, you need to know how to.
Now, even if you just write and you're like, oh, I want to come in, I don't want to do videos, I just want to write. Cut out 2 things, which is just editing and framing. You have to do everything else. Which is like going out early in the mornings, getting all your shots, then coming back, writing your story, SEO, all that.
And the wisdom, one thing, sunscreen. God damn, carry a sunscreen on auto shoots, right?
I always forget. I've been doing this for.
My skin tells the story.
I won't touch my skin right now.
Yeah. We've been told by our beloved producer that wipe that oil off. A producer is smiling. That happens, right? That's because you're in the sun throughout, right? Because night shots are difficult. So you're mostly in the sun. Sunscreen is your best friend. And develop more skills.
Yeah. And I think a big thing is like you may not have a lot of money, but to the best of your ability, you should at least go out, and I feel that you need to invest in a vehicle of your own, because there's no greater teacher than something which you can fool around with.
Yeah. So I mean, if
Ducati
lent me a hypermotard, I wouldn't want to experiment. I'd rather do that on my own bike, which could be 100cc bike.
We didn't forget, if you are not careful, you do damage a bike. That damages your reputation, and that just so counterintuitive.
All your work is undone Pretty much. Because, very simple. You drove the hypermotard. I have to drive it next. Oh, you're popping wheelies, huh? Nice clutch burn that you have. Now where's my bike?
Yeah. And what about the ball tire?
Oh, you did a burnout, did you?
Burnout,
Huh? Not your bike, not your tire.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be on the receiving end of this, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Like when I was 24,
You still look 24.
oh, thanks, man. You're about 24 and a half. Yeah, like थोड़ा सा मतलब
Yeah, slightly older than my actual age.
but वो wisdom. Wisdom. So like I did. So I as I said, I have no sense of preservation. I learned by crashing. Okay, I did crash, and it's probably going to happen.
Yeah, but don't crash.
Don't crash. Don't go out with the aim. Like
आज I will learn how to fall on the left side,
the right way.
on the right side tomorrow.
How to file the right way is also
Maybe we should. But speaking of the
Dhruv
next part,
Paliwal. That's
beloved friend.
Principal crash test.
Principal crashes. Okay, good segue. Well done. Yeah? Because this is for the ADAS video. So, go check out our AutoX YouTube channel. We've done a fantastic video on how ADAS systems work and how safe they are by actually testing them against Dhruv Paliwal.
Yeah. I was like, who?
Yeah, I mean, the ADAS systems were scared.
ADAS against Paliwal.
Cars are like, damn, I don't want to get into that. Better stop. Cough. So, do watch that video out. And I think that actually makes for the next podcast's topic. Would you want to see how our, what went behind the scenes on recording AEB tests, ADAS? What do we think about it? Or anything else? So, while we bring this to a close, I asked at the starting and for an opening remark.
Yeah.
What's your closing remark?
We all fantasize about becoming that senior journalist which you see, which is popping willies and scraping knees at Sipang on after 80 this thing. You need to you're going to start off with smaller bikes, smaller cars. I cleaned so many cars.
Yeah.
Before before I was the one behind the camera. And you need to start off somewhere, but it's a process. You need to trust the process and you need to put in the effort. Just as this is a job at the end of the day. And and also one big advice is, in India is a cutthroat market. The automotive industry is a pretty cutthroat. You are naive, people will take advantage. So be smart about this is a job. You are getting paid for your effort, and you need to keep in that mind. You need to not overvalue, but you need to value yourself right. I feel.
And you're not the only one.
Yeah. Don't be fooled. कि मतलब गाड़ी मिल गई, पेट्रोल मिल गया, वो काफी है.
It won't get you anywhere. So my closing bit, right? Wash cars. Get really good at cleaning cars and bikes, right? As bad as it sounds and as heartless as it sounds, that is pretty much something.
Clean the car मतलब
anything.
लोग आके बोले कि मतलब
वाह क्या कार
है. गाड़ी मस्त लग रही है.
Like that GIF, that acting guy ना, वाह क्या acting कर रहा है. You should be वाह क्या गाड़ी धो रहा है. क्या गाड़ी धोया है. So इसको हर shoot पे लेके जाओ. Yeah. That's your secret.
Yeah. Whatever you like.
We still do it.
This is still your passion.
It's still your passion.
Yeah.
Wash cars.
गाड़ी मिले.
Yeah. As heartless as that sounds. Because again, while shooting, there are like 10 people making it happen. If you're the cleaning guy, do it with gusto. Oh, passion. Ooh. Wash the car with passion. Right? I will explain this maybe in a further episode. Yeah. Why you need to be the guy who washes the car best.
You have the most important job.
You're the most important job. Damn. So, I think that brings a close to this episode. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching.
Best bearing us all this while. Yeah. And it's actually nice to open up like this, right? Freeing ourselves. Freedom. Oh, damn. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon in the next one.